Well, in a major political risk, one that can upend his prospects, the UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak is banking on emergency legislation to resurrect his high-profile plan for illegal immigrants after the UK Supreme Court rejected his government's plans to send asylum seekers to Rwanda as unlawful. The British Prime Minister has said that his proposed legislation will end the merry-go-round of legal challenges by setting out a law that the East African country is safe. Sunak's combative call comes just 2 days after his controversial cabinet reshuffle that has split the Tories and put his own premiership into question.
So I'm also announcing today that we will take the extraordinary step of introducing emergency legislation. This will enable Parliament to confirm that with our new treaty, Rwanda is safe. It will ensure that people cannot further delay flights by bringing systemic challenges in our domestic courts and stop our policy being repeatedly blocked. Today, the Supreme Court has judged that the Rwanda policy requires a set of changes in order to be lawful. I do not agree with this decision, but I respect it and accept it. The rule of law is fundamental to our democracy. We have prepared for all outcomes of this case. And so we have been working on a new international treaty with Rwanda. This will provide a guarantee in law that those who are relocated from the UK to Rwanda will be protected against removal from Rwanda. And it will make clear that we will bring back anyone if ordered to do so by a court.
Sunak says if legal challenges continue, he is prepared to leave the International Human Rights Treaty, a move that would certainly draw strong opposition and international criticism. But Sunak's challenges don't end here. A day after being sacked as Home Secretary, the Conservative leader Sula Braverman wrote a letter accusing Sunak of being weak and not fulfilling his promises. Sunak's choice of the former Prime Minister David Cameron as Foreign Secretary has also provoked strong reactions. The controversies around Cameron have also resurfaced. The China ties of the former Prime Minister and UK's new Foreign Secretary are once again under the spotlight among an investigation as well. Reports say 80 of the 100 MPs within the party are seen as right-wing Sunak skeptics. They are split into factions, and that estimate includes 50 who are strongly behind Liz Truss and only about 10 for Braverman. The coming days will reveal whether Sunak's proposed actions will be enough to satisfy the courts or thwart a leadership challenge within his ranks. More on this, we're now being joined by Stuart Smith from London. And Stuart, well, a lot of opposition there within the Tory party for Rishi Sunak, and of course he's being combative as far as that Rwanda plan is concerned, taking a huge political risk as well.
Yeah, that's right. And the Immigration Minister, Robert Jenrick, said earlier today that this policy cannot be allowed to fail. He says that he doesn't see a path to victory at the next general election for his own party unless the Conservatives resolve this issue. This is a major part of the UK immigration policy, with Prime Minister Rishi Sunak attempting to outline a method that would stop boats crossing the English Channel to the country. The thinking being that any asylum seeker or refugee hoping to come to the UK would no longer do that if they knew they would be immediately deported to Rwanda. But what happened on Wednesday was the Supreme Court said Rwanda was not a safe destination for those asylum seekers, that there was a high enough chance they could be sent back to exactly the countries they had fled, which meant that the UK's policy wasn't legal. And so the Prime Minister is looking to change, through this emergency legislation, the designation of Rwanda as a safe country. And if that's in law, then judges cannot, Rishi Sunak believes, stop any of these deportation flights taking place. He also suggests that with a change to the treaty with Rwanda that forces them to accept refugees coming from the UK and stay in Rwanda, regardless of whether their appeal is denied or accepted, that will get around those legal concerns that the Supreme Court has. But objectors to this policy, the opposition Labour Party, for example, say that the issues with Rwanda as a destination country for these refugees cannot be fixed quickly. The Supreme Court outlined a host of issues, from the risk of torture to the risk of extrajudicial killings, all things which it seems hard to see would be fixed with a simple change to international treaties.
Right. And also, Stuart, then to the question of the cabinet reshuffle, that's been extremely controversial as well, the sacking of Sola Braverman and, of course, the, coming back of David Cameron.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Now, the Foreign Secretary, the now Foreign Secretary, is David Cameron, and he is someone that is well known as having quite an international outlook. He's pro-European Union. He's somebody that it would be hard to see putting his stamp of approval in any attempt to leave the European Court of Human Rights. But at the same time, this is an important part of Rishi Sunak's premiership, one which seems to be challenged now from the backbenches by Suella Braverman, the outgoing Home Secretary, a Home Secretary supported by the right of his party, but one that frequently made comments counter to government messaging, seeing usually more right-wing than Rishi Sunak was willing to go. And she has already commented on this policy. She says that Rishi Sunak's not going far enough and seems to be trying to put pressure on him from now outside the cabinet. He's having to balance all of this while also trying to stay in line with the law.
Right. Stuart Smith, thanks very much indeed for joining us with the very latest of what's happening with the UK government.